really called football.
Soccer?
The creators called it football.
Soccer?
You know, you play it with your feet.
Reading between the headlines. Soccer?
But it's really called football.
Soccer? Hello, folks. What is up? Oh, wow. That was kind of silly, wasn't it? I didn't bring my microphone to my face. That's how you know I'm out of practice, guys. Welcome back to the channel, Reading Between the Headlines. We're back. I'm back. That was a bit of a rough return, but nonetheless, I am here. You can hear in the background, I've got the pre-match show for this Chelsea match against Legia, Warsaw in the Europa Conference League. And let me throw up that little, there you go, little table. That's the Premier League table, but you know, I was going to look at some other things perhaps before this match, but you know, well, this is Reading Between the Headlines. If you haven't been here before, the format has been ever evolving, but right now we're doing a pre-match show for this Chelsea match. Now we're up 3-0 in the aggregate of this tournament, so not a heck of a lot of pressure in this match, but as a Chelsea fan, you know, if you're a deep fan, you kind of like to watch these matches. You like to watch the matches when there isn't a lot of pressure on the team for other reasons. Maybe, perhaps, to see some of the other players that don't really get too many minutes, see how they can do, see whatever. I mean, we're in a bit of a different situation at this point in the season, and that's the reason, just to get straight to it, sort of, I titled this live stream the way that I did. The reason I did that is because I've been thinking about it a lot lately. I've been thinking, like, is this team a failure? Is this season a failure as far as Maresca goes? And, you know, I'm the type of person that isn't usually... I can't really think of many times where a manager was sacked and I was stoked about it. I was happy about it in any sort of way. I can't think of a single situation. Usually, I'm the type of guy that likes to see things through. If it's not working out, if somehow the manager has become toxic, then okay, I can understand that. But there's a reason we get managers, and there's a reason we put them in place, because we like their philosophy, et cetera, and I don't know. I tend to want to see it through, but with and you know, I'm going to start here. I'm not advocating for Maresca to be sacked, but I do think it begs the question: what's going on this season? Is this a failure? People were sort of happy to see Pochettino go. Chelsea ended his final season in 6th place, if I'm not mistaken, and it was sort of a claw back into 6th place situation where Chelsea kept getting better and better under Pochettino, albeit somewhat gradually and slowly. I'm gonna make sure that my mic is working. Yeah, it is. Okay, so, you know, I think it's, you know, and I'm actually going to throw this poll up. Maybe I'm a little bit all over the place, but again, excuse my haphazard approach today. It's sort of impromptu, and it's been a minute, so I'm going to put in the poll, as you can see there in the chat box: will Enzo Maresca's first season at the club be considered a failure? And there's yes, no, and then I suppose you could say not, can't decide yet. And I suppose I'll just throw that in there. And I suppose that sort of the idea with that third option is, well, there's still plenty of season left. I put the table up there so you could see it. Chelsea's in 6th place. Again, you know, in my opinion, and I've been saying this to friends and whatever, if Chelsea ends in 6th place this season, the same place we ended with Pochettino, I'm going to have to say that, yes, this season has been a failure because, I mean, we haven't improved at all since Pochettino left. Literally, we ended that season in 6th place, and we get rid of a person who I think is a very good manager in Pochettino and much more experienced manager than Maresca. And we get rid of him for what? For another 6th place finish? Now, the other thing you could say is, well, if we do win this Europa Conference League trophy and end up in 6th place, maybe that would not be considered a failure. There'll be, I believe, you qualify for Europa League next season. Although we would, if we end in 6th place, we qualify for Europa League anyway. As you can see over here, yeah, that little blue line on the side means we would qualify for Europa League. Why is it that the top 5 get Champions League football this season? I don't know what the answer to that question is. That's what FOPMob, this website, seems to indicate. Might be worth asking or finding that out, but not too important right now. The point is if we win the trophy, if we win the Europa Conference League, which if you want to take a look over, here's the starting lineup. Okay, Jackson. Okay, so it looks like. Okay, we'll talk about that in a second. But if you look at the way that it's formatted here, this tournament, we've got. If we beat, I assume we beat Warsaw today, or at least we beat them. Don't lose or draw sufficient to advance into the next round. We get here into the semifinals, and there's a semifinal on the other side of the bracket, and it looks like it hasn't been decided yet, but it should be. Oh yeah, it's going to be decided soon. Today's live games going on. It's probably going to be Betis, and it's probably going to be Fiorentina. Celtic? No, I don't know what that is. A Norwegian team or something? I don't know. The point is, it's probably going to be either Fiorentina or Betis. They're probably going to have it out in the semifinals over here. As you can see, I'm highlighting there. And then we'll be on the other side. It'll be either, Deer Garden. That looks like either some sort of Scandinavian team. I don't even know. Guess I could pull it up. Swedish team. Okay. That's not what I want to do. And then Rapid Vienna. What is that? Austrian team? Austrian team, yeah. So yeah, what we're looking at is we're going to probably pay them. And yeah, if we lose to them, that's embarrassing. One of those two teams. Sorry, no offense to anybody who's a fan of them. But yeah, so it's going to be us in this other semifinal bracket here against one of those two teams. And if assuming we don't lose horribly today, which would also be very embarrassing. And then we'll either play Fiorentina or Betis in the final. So to be fair, those two teams, Betis and Fiorentina, are fully capable of giving us trouble in that final there, as you can see on May 28th. So that is not a foregone conclusion. We are not just presumed to win this tournament. And so that's going to be a battle. But let's say we do win the tournament, and we do. And so the reason I bring up this table is because look at this situation. I mean, if you're a Chelsea fan, you're already looking at this, and you see that we've got a tough road ahead of us if we want to be qualifying. Now, again, it says 5th. Why is it 5th? Let's just see that for a second. Okay, 1 second. So, why do the top is... Sorry, how do I phrase this? Are the top 5 places in the Premier League Champions League qualifying this season. I don't see why. Why is that? The top 5. Why is this? Because the Premier League has secured an extra spot in the Champions League due to strong performance of English clubs in European competitions this season. Okay, that's interesting. I don't remember the last time that happened, but apparently it seems to be the case that it's the top 5 spots. Okay, but even then, I'm not feeling very confident about this. I don't know about you guys. Maybe somebody could say in the chat if they're feeling confident about this. But we need Newcastle, Nottingham Forest, or Manchester. I mean, Newcastle, look at that form. They've won their last 5 matches, okay? Nottingham Forest, yes, they've lost their last 2 matches against, Everton. That's a bad loss. But, to be fair, they do have Tottenham next up, and while Tottenham has not been the best this season, you can see them languishing in 15th place. They could always put in a performance, especially if they don't want. I mean, 15th place, they don't want to go into that relegation zone. Let's be real. Tottenham getting relegated would be a disaster, right? So, I mean, Manchester City, I imagine they're going to finish strong. You've heard Jamie Carragher say that he doesn't see. This was already a couple of fixtures ago, saying Chelsea are not finishing in Champions League spots. And to be honest, I'm not feeling very optimistic right now. I don't know about you guys. So what I'm trying to get at is, assuming we don't get one of those Champions League spots, which maybe that's bad of me as a fan. Assuming we don't get one of those top 5 spots and qualify for Champions League, would the Europa Conference League be enough for this season not to be a failure? For me, no. I still think switching, sacking Pochettino, picking up Maresca, and ending in 6th place with a Europa Conference League trophy is a utter failure. Now, that said, sort of tweak that a little bit, we end top 5, let's say Nottingham Forest loses their next match against Tottenham. That puts us on level with them. We have a better goal differential at the moment, but that would still require us to go out there and beat frickin' Fulham in the next match, who aren't the easiest day out, and this is so certainly it's a tough road ahead of us. But let's say if we can tweak that equation and say we finish top 5 Chelsea, and we do get that Champions League spot, and we get a Europa Conference League trophy, kind of changes the whole complexion of the season, doesn't it? Then it becomes, that we struggled a little bit in the end, but the end result is pretty much a massive victory, isn't it? It's a good season, really. At least that's my opinion. I don't see how you can think otherwise, to be honest. It seems to me that would be the case. But, okay, so as I was saying, at this moment, it feels like, because the Conference League is not going to be enough for me, that trophy is not going to be enough for me. At this moment, it feels like we're not going to finish in top 5, top 4. We're not going to get a Champions League spot, and that and the trophy for the Conference League is not going to make a big difference for me. So, there you go. That's my opinion on that. But let's get back to the game now, because the lineup is out. As you could see, Jorgensen at the goalkeeper position, fine. You got Kukureya, Badiashile, Tosin, Achimpong in the back line. In the central midfield, in the midfield, I guess you could say central midfield, although I don't know how they're going to line up, but according to this preview line, or I guess lineup drawn up by FotMob, we're going to see Dewsbury Hall and James in the middle, which I'm not surprised about. I really don't mind James in the midfield because, okay, the way that Maresca has been playing, I mean, and he's tweaked it a little bit since we started really struggling. The way that Maresca has been playing previously to that was that the fullbacks don't really get like under Pochettino, our fullbacks got forward, right? Under Maresca, our fullbacks don't really go forward. They do, but it's just few and far between. You're not seeing those bombing overlaps that you were seeing under Pochettino. And so one of the strengths of a player like Reece James, now, of course, he is a savage powerhouse, sort of like just one little chode muscle, for the lack of a better term. He's just like not very tall, but he's super broad and really strong. One of the great things about Reece James that he provides is pinging those crosses in, early crosses from the right back position if there's that overlap going on, but it doesn't happen so much in Maresca. So when you see him in the midfield, on the right-hand side especially, which is great because, as we've talked about in the past, for some reason Maresca doesn't like to play lefties on the left and righties on the right in the winger position, so we have to rely on sort of our fullbacks having the preferred foot coinciding with whatever side they're on, meaning a right-footed fullback on the right and a left-footed fullback on the left, going up and putting those crosses in on their preferred foot. Otherwise, we become very narrow, which has been the case with Maresca. And I'm digressing a lot, but my point is that seeing that James is not going to be put in he's not going to have the responsibility in a Maresca system of being on the right, at the right fullback, the right back, as you might say. Being in the central midfield, he might be able to put some more of those crosses in. Now, again, we don't really even need to score that much in this match, do we? We just need to hold it down, play a solid game. I mean, maybe for the sake of confidence and momentum, it'd be good to put in a performance and to win this game and to really spur us forward in the league. You know, these sort of games can do that, you know. Not that I want us to have any false confidence. We obviously need to be strong. We're going out to play Fulham in the next match. And let's see, is it an away match? Next match is Fulham away. So, yeah. Jeez. And then we still have Liverpool away. I think Manchester City, Newcastle, and Nottingham Forest. I looked at their fixtures and for the rest of the season, and ours looked pretty much worse. I mean, just having Liverpool at home and there's Newcastle away. So this is going to be a tough finish to the season for Chelsea. It's not looking good in my opinion. But let's focus on today's match. And I think this looks good for me. I like that. This is interesting seeing both Jackson and Nkunku in the starting lineup. I think we're going to do quite well today. I think we're going to end up with the win. And I'd put in a bet for the win, but the odds are just really not great. I mean, they're just Chelsea are too big a favorite to really get a solid bet in and still root for Chelsea. You know what I mean? Like maybe you bet an over and hope, but there's no real incentive for Chelsea to score a ton of goals. So yeah, not that I'm giving betting advice here. I'm just thinking out loud. Let's see who's on the bench. Did I not post the bench? I post the bench. No bench. Okay. Oh, here, bench. Bergstrom, Sanchez, two keepers on the bench. We got Antwi. Honestly, I don't even really know Genesis Antwi. I've seen him, I think, in one match in the U21s. Okay, Gusto, fine. Emanalo. I don't know. Amugu, not seen him in the U21s. Walsh, I have no idea who he is. Reggie Walsh. Raksaki, yeah, he plays in the U21s. He's okay. He's probably definitely one of the top 2 or 3 players in the U21s. Madueke, obviously. Neto. How many people are on the bench? It's a big bench. Yeah, more players than jeez, huge bench. One, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 on the bench. Is that normal? Is that normal even? I'm not even sure. I kind of want to. How many were on the bench for Ipswich? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. Yeah, I don't think that's normal to have 12 on the bench. But okay, that's how much we get for this match, apparently, according to FOTMob. Tyreek George, I don't even know who this guy is. Shumaira Mecca. Well, I mean, it makes sense to throw a bunch of unknowns on the bench if you're Maresca. This game looks to be secured. But Maresca actually getting into some hot water recently, or not even so recently, but as you could see, I'm going to take that off, and you can see I have this article pulled up from UK Daily Mail. That's from a few days ago, referencing, I imagine this was that's the pre-match. Okay. Post-match. Okay, it was the post-match at Ipswich, where you had Maresca hit out at Chelsea fans. Okay, so that's what they're referencing over here. Let me mute this pre-match show over here.
No, in terms of, I think we lost a little bit confidence because we conceded, probably because, the environment. This is the moment that you have to continue doing the right things and don't change plan. Also because, we are a team that most of the times our goal kick, we start from playing short. The second goal, we decide to play long because the environment of the and we concede the second one. So you have to be strong. You have to continue with the things that you are doing.
Okay, so as you can see from the headline over here, a bit of a weird one. Just that clip out. If you're coming to this live stream, you're probably the type of play, like, this is deep. You're deep into Chelsea. But if you're coming onto this live stream, you've probably watched the post-match press conference. You probably watched the whole thing. But as you can see over here, this is not a good headline, and this is indicative of Maresca feeling the pressure. Let's be real, and he should, because as we said earlier on in the show, all things considered, if the season ends this way, it is a massive failure, in my opinion, for Maresca. We're in 6th place, and Pochettino ended his last season at Chelsea in 6th place, and we sacked him, okay? I don't care if we win the trophy. I don't care if we win the Europa Conference League trophy. If we end up in 6th place, massive failure. And again, to the contrary, tweak that. If we get the trophy for Conference League and we manage to end up in the top 5 in the Premier League, because as we talked about before, top 5 this season will be getting Champions League spots, which is not normal, but that's what's going on this season because of how well Premier League teams have done in recent times in the Champions League, in Europe in general. So again, going back to the Maresca comments that really blew up the news cycle. He started. This always happens. This always happens when the manager starts blaming the environment for confidence being sapped and results. As much as I'm the type of guy that wants to give credit to the manager, and it's true. Yeah, okay, it doesn't help a bad situation when the fans are not on the team side. That much is obvious. But bro, we got here because of you, okay? We got here because of you. We're a 6th place Premier League team this season. We were a 6th place Premier League the end of last season, okay? We've strengthened since last season. Not a heck of a lot, but certainly enough to the point where you have somebody like Jadon Sancho who's starting our matches almost every Premier League match, if not every Premier League match, and he was acquired. We've strengthened since Pochettino left, and we're in the same position. Okay? So my point is just that you know, sorry, I'm going to shut this little the volume here. Daily Mail loves to do this. But my point is that it's your fault, bro. It's your fault we're here. And I have to say, yes, it is a failure of the season if we end up like this. And it does seem to be headed in that direction. Okay? Signs point to us, like I said before, Nottingham Forest, yeah, they could slip up. If anybody's going to slip up, it's Nottingham Forest. And don't forget, we do play Newcastle United in the final. Is it the final? No, not in the final fixture of the season. But, sorry, pull this up over here. We do play. Let me get back over there. Here we go. We do play Newcastle on May 10th. Okay, Saturday, May 10th. So, Newcastle is one of the teams, as you could see in. Oh, I'm not showing it here. Let's go. Let's do it that way. Yeah. So, we play them on the 10th. And Newcastle, well, it's not going to be enough to put us ahead of them. They're 5 points ahead of us with a better goal differential than us. Okay, so in my eyes, I'm kind of looking at Nottingham Forest to just shit the bed for the rest of the season because while they're 3 points ahead of us, they're on a 2-game losing streak to Everton and Aston Villa. I mean, Aston Villa, all things considered, is not terrible. They're in 7th place. But Everton at home, they lost 1-0. I didn't watch the game, so I can't tell you this or that. But I'm looking for them to slip up. You know, maybe Manchester City slips up. I don't feel very strongly about that, for obvious reasons. But we can get a 3-point swing against Newcastle. It's just, it doesn't. Yeah, I'm not very confident, but we can turn things around. But again, if things do, all things considered, stay the same way as they are right now, this is effed up, bro. And it's going to be a massive failure, and we should have kept Pochettino. Okay. Moving on. Let's look at another, just the last point on that about lost confidence due to atmosphere. I mean, I didn't actually hit that, so you couldn't see it. You probably don't even know what I'm talking about, but yeah, it's a production thing. This is what happens when you have to produce and hit all the buttons on your own. Well, I could use one of those little slide boards, shot boards, as I've used in the past. It makes it a lot easier. But anyway, I digress. Massively digress. Okay. Yeah, Maresca, it's your fault, and it is what it is. If you're hanging in this channel, why not hit the subscribe button while we're here, while I'm fumbling through my words? That's something I've got right away that I can say to you. Subscribe to the channel. Why not? Okay, come back, enjoy these. It seems to me that I'm going to be doing these pre-match shows more often because it makes a lot more sense than what I was doing, which was a live watch along, and I can't have the match playing while I'm watching it, and I have to just sort of rely. And you know what? I couldn't even show highlights anymore. They started copyright striking the channel, so not going to be doing the live watch-alongs anymore as far as I'm concerned. I have seen that the other channels are somewhat successful doing it, and I like the idea of being able to watch along with other people out there, but because, you're home alone, you're watching the game alone, it's a lot more fun to watch with somebody else, but there's issues with it. It doesn't sync exactly. You're behind, I'm ahead, or vice versa. So probably not going to do that. These pre-match shows are probably what I'm going to go with. But let's move on. The other thing in the news cycle recently, a couple days ago, I guess, but Cole Palmer posted on his Instagram, speaking of Enzo Maresca under fire, when you have these sorts of things, and it's definitely a bad news item. Chelsea fans is the headline, as you could see over there. Chelsea fans convinced Cole Palmer is aiming a dig at under fire boss Enzo Maresca with cryptic Instagram post. Cryptic, maybe that's an overstatement, but what ended up happening was he posted this right here. Posted a clip of him scoring a goal. This was under Pochettino. With the word, I don't even know if this is a word. Enjoyment. Is enjoyment a word? I'm not even sure enjoyment's a word. Let's check that out. I guess it is a word. Is that something British people say that Americans don't say? I don't know. But so Cole Palmer posted this on his Instagram. Enjoyment and referring to last season. So people, as you can see over here, as reported by the Daily Mail, 100% dig at the current situation. LOL at this time, a message to the manager or what? Do not want to be that guy, but this is such a clear dig. Okay, so, and then what was the other one? There's some other ones here, yeah. Clearly missing Poch ball when he had more freedom. Also his way of saying that Maresca ball is not good enough. Change the system or he's gone in the summer. Maresca ball is killing him, man. Then, yes, a picture of Pochettino. Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely, again, okay, so as you see here, well, yeah, again, we ended 6th place. We're in 6th place now. If we don't improve upon that, and even if we do win the Conference League, it's a failure for me. Shut that down. Next item of the day. What do we got? Okay, no, I was looking at that. Enzo Maresca. This is for the Club World Cup. I don't know how much people care about this, but Andre Santos was picked up some time ago. I think he was playing at he was on loan at a friend, as at Strasbourg. Yeah, exactly. So he was on loan at Strasbourg playing with, I imagine playing with, who was the goalkeeper that I actually like? Petrovic. Petrovic also played at Strasbourg. If you don't know, Strasbourg is a Chelsea sort of sister club. It's also owned by the same ownership, by the Bowley Group, whatever. Okay, so this line, I mean, it's not that interesting, but interesting enough. I didn't even see this, so. Oh yeah, because there's been this is the other news item. This channel is called Reading Between the Headlines, so we're sort of reading between the headlines here, aren't we? Chelsea will reject interest from Saudi Arabia in one of their key players. There have been rumors about Caicedo going away, which is crazy because Caicedo is like the only player that has been sort of, he didn't start off this way, but has advanced to a place where he is consistent and plays consistently. Can you name another player that has been playing consistently in the Chelsea side? I kind of can't. I think Caicedo is the only player. Who else could there be? Maybe you could say Gusto. I probably wouldn't even say Gusto. I would say Caicedo, and maybe Neto have been the only couple of consistent players for Chelsea, but probably Caicedo. So the idea of selling him to a Saudi club is absolutely absurd. And why would it? This has happened, but why the heck would a 23-year-old want to go in the middle of his career? It's not like he ain't earning at Chelsea. Caicedo's earning at Chelsea, okay? He's not earning as much as he would make at Saudi Arabia. There's no reason for him to go there. That is utterly insane. And if the club does that, I'm just going to hate life. Just going to absolutely hate life if Chelsea sell Caicedo. I mean, to Saudi club. I repeat, the only player that has been consistent this season for us. The idea of selling him is absolutely a nightmare. So it's going to be a no for me, dog. Getting back to the lineup, it's interesting. Why is Maresca even playing Jackson, right? Why is Jackson starting? I mean, he started the last game, right? And we're up 3-0. So it's a pretty strong side, actually, you have to say here. I think really this lineup feels like Maresca is caught between two minds. One mind is that I'm under pressure. I'm speaking as Maresca. He's under pressure, okay? And it's looking pretty bleak. The end of this season is looking pretty bleak. It's looking like probably we're up against it to end up in the top 5. We need, one of these teams, to Manchester City, Forest, or United, Newcastle, to really slip up. And so it seems like he has a mind to win the trophy in the Conference League, as if that is going to change anything. Because, as I said before, I don't feel that way. And I don't feel any Chelsea fans actually feel that way. I'd be interested in hearing another Chelsea fan say they think that if we ended up in 6th place but won the Conference League, that it wouldn't be a complete and utter failure for Maresca this season. That's how I feel. I don't give a... It's only a bonus if we get a Champions League spot, period. If we don't get a Champions League spot, it is an utter failure. So that's my opinion. So that's why I think you actually see a pretty strong side here. You look at the bench and you see where he could have gone with this. He could have put in Genesis Antwi, who's been playing, it's like 17, okay? He's been playing for the U21s. He could have thrown in Raksaki, which he's done in the past. He could have played Tyreek George, but no, he's not doing that, okay? He's got Sancho, Jackson, Palmer, James. You could say Nkunku. I would probably see Nkunku starting this game no matter what. Like, you're going to see Nkunku because he doesn't get minutes, and he's sort of one of those players that perhaps he was going to get elevated to, he's in between sort of B team. Well, I mean, actually, at this point, I would say Nkunku is solid B team for Chelsea. He's been underwhelming. There were people that thought that he was possibly better than Jackson and that he should start ahead of Jackson. I think all that crap has been put to bed. Jackson may not be the best striker. He may not be first string material for Chelsea, period. But he's the best we got. And I think that much is obvious at this point. I mean, Nkunku should not be starting it. So the point is that Nkunku was always going to be starting this game. But the fact, it is true, we're not playing Caicedo. Caicedo's not even on the bench. I don't know if he's injured or something. That's possible. But even look at the back line. I mean, even though I think Chalobah should start ahead of Badiashile, it's really sort of like for like, apples to apples. You feel like this is a strong starting lineup from Maresca. He really doesn't want to lose this. And you know what? That kind of doesn't make me feel great about the league either, because you can tell where his mind is at. We got to win this Conference League. Otherwise, I'm a complete failure this first season. But I agree, but I don't agree that the Conference League trophy would make up for that at all. It just won't. So he's sort of playing a little bit of a different lineup, but at the end of the day, it's still a very, very strong lineup. Again, if you go back and look at the sorry, not the table, but the tournament knockout tree, you could see it right here. Oh, let me see if I can. Yeah. So you see that it's us in the quarterfinals here. See on the right hand side, look at that highlighted bracket. And then, so assuming we don't completely embarrass ourselves today against Warsaw, we end up in the semifinals against one of these two teams. You've got Rapid Wien from Austria, or Djurgården. I don't know how you pronounce that. They're from Sweden. Okay. And again, if we don't embarrass ourselves today, we should play against them in the semifinals, one of those two teams. And if we don't embarrass ourselves in the semifinals, then we should go on to the final on May 28th. And who ends up over there? Well, we've got a couple fixtures going on today that should determine that. Okay, as you can see over here, it's pretty tight. On the left-hand side of the bracket, you've got Fiorentina and, I don't know, Celje. I don't really know. Where is Celje from? Celje, Slovenia. Okay, so that's tight, actually. It's not a foregone conclusion that Fiorentina gets through, but let's assume here that game ends as it is now, or somewhat similar to as it is now. Okay, it looks like Betis already knocked out. Is that game over? I have to see that actually. Why not pull it up? Go over here. Yeah, so those games have finished. Okay, those games have finished. So for sure it's going to be Fiorentina or Betis. They're both going to play off on May 1st in the semifinals. And yeah, and so again, that's not a real that isn't a foregone conclusion either. I mean, we could those two teams could be pretty tough. I mean, let's see, where is Fiorentina in the Italian league? 8th place. Okay, so they're sort of a mid-table team, but you know, on the day, they probably have the quality to hurt us, and then. So, you know, I talked about this earlier in the stream, but just for the sake of getting it out there for people that are coming on now, yeah, Betis. I don't even know where Betis are this season in the Spanish league. 6th place, not bad at all. Yeah, dangerous. So yeah, it looks like Maresca really wants to win, which makes me feel like he's also feeling under pressure and feeling like he's not sure what's going to happen in the Premier League this season, and it looks pretty bleak. Very, very sad. Now, as I said earlier in the show, I like to talk about a bet that I'll put down for whatever game it is I'm setting to watch, but you know, let's even take a look at the FanDuel odds here, or I shouldn't give FanDuel a plug to be fair, but looking at the odds, let's pull that up. Right, so you've got Chelsea to advance is insane. It's 100,000 minus 100,000, but let's look at the money line three-way. According to FanDuel, they've got Chelsea at minus 600 to win. It's plus 650 to tie, which actually, if you ask me, I don't think it's going to end a tie, but I'm just saying for the value there, and at this point, Chelsea's sort of struggling, and Warsaw is going to want to push forward. If they can get an early goal and then Chelsea sort of scrounge back one goal, that tie, I wouldn't bet it because I'm a Chelsea fan and I'm not trying to root for a tie in this match. But plus 650 is what FanDuel gives you if you want to bet that you'll have a draw or a tie, as us Americans like to call it. And you get plus 1,100 if you bet Warsaw to win this fixture. So there's that. And then, so if this is just crazy, like, you know, I tend to like to throw a bet on in the game, like especially if Chelsea are favorite, I'll throw Chelsea to win, and then I'll have like one player, like either Cole Palmer or whoever's playing the 9 position, to get a shot on target, and then I'll bet on a winger or a couple of wingers to get a shot. That doesn't necessarily have to be on target, okay? But yeah, I wouldn't even do that today because it's crazy. Like, you bet Chelsea money line and Nkunku to get a shot on target, Cole Palmer to get a shot on target, and let's see if you at that. With those 3 legs, Chelsea money line, and Nkunku to have a shot on target, Cole Palmer to have a shot on target, you're still only getting minus 177. Let's see if you throw Nicholas Jackson on there, you only get to minus 119. So literally, this doesn't happen often. Okay, it's hard enough to get one player to get a shot on target. People think that maybe tons of players get shots on target every match. It's not the case. So you really have to sort of to get for 3 players, to bet on 3 players to get shots on target. That would be tough. Minus 119 is just not not great. So I'm going to say, as a Chelsea fan, other than a draw, betting on a draw, or I suppose you could bet the over. For over 2.5 goals, you get -358. But there's not a lot of incentive for Chelsea to score a ton of goals here, right? I mean, looking at the lineup, maybe you could see that. Look at some very strong attacking players with Nkunku, Palmer, Jackson, Sancho. And I guess you could say that you'd assume that Warsaw is going to try and go forward, right? They're really going to try and win. They have to. They have no choice but to do that. They need nothing short of a miracle. But even if you bet over 3.5 goals, meaning you bet 4 goals or more, you still only get -122 for this match. It's just insane. As a Chelsea fan, you really can't bet on this match. Just not even an option. Let's hear a little bit what these people are talking about. This is on the Golazzo show.
Nigel, maybe this is one that you could actually do because no one knows how to say it, so we'll all just believe you.
Can you even hear that? Yeah.
This is Nigel. He always can say the really hard ones.
I'm built different. That's what I'm saying. They don't know. Let them know. He knows now.
They whisper that in your good ear, huh?
Boring. Okay. Let's look at some of the other news items.
In the Europa League, obviously, we mentioned 3 of the 4 ties are level on aggregate coming into the match. How crazy was the game?
So, if you're just coming in, Chelsea are going to play either Betis, or Fiorentina in the semifinal if we get past the quarterfinal. I'm sorry, in the final, not the semifinal.
To play in and to watch a match in a big match. And so Robin Proper here, VAR deems this a dog so foul, denial of an obvious goal scoring opportunity, sent off. And guess who steps up? Liam Kelly, who was just in for Jack Butlin. He comes up with a massive save here.
Like this. Let's see what Chelsea said or Maresca said in the pre-match here.
The Bobcat National.
It's not much to it today, I wish I had a little bit more material right now, but 10 minutes away, and really we just need to get through today.
It's the same.
Here's Maresca.
The message is always the same.
Off the back of basically getting some really bad headlines for shitting on the crowd, which, as I said earlier in the show, is pretty much an indication that you are fucking up as the manager when you start blaming the crowd. Well, the crowd's not getting into it because the team's not giving them much to work with. So, yeah, this is what he said. Also, I guess that is the narrative du jour, if you could say. We're all talking about the fans now, and how Maresca is. And this just is always a downward spiral, isn't it? Once the manager starts talking about the fans, it's just a bad trajectory, man. And it just ain't going to end well. Unless something turns around. Look, again, if Chelsea manages to get top 5, which is Champions League spots, and also wins the Europa Conference League, and the Conference League alone won't be enough and it's a long road to win the Conference League, even from this position. If we do manage to get those things, that things might change. But if that doesn't happen, none of this is going to help.
The message is always the same.
Here's Maresca.
Us, with our support, our fans, we are better team. We are stronger. Sometimes I completely understand that us as a team, we need to engage the fans. Something that probably Sunday we were not able to do it.
Meaning play well.
Especially for that 20-25 minutes. So it's also on us to be good enough and to engage our fans, because we knew this season, we saw this season that when we were able to engage them, they support us in every game.
Okay, so certainly a different sort of headline and a different sort of approach from the previous, from what we were seeing before, which was Maresca. The headlines were that Maresca was shitting on the fans. Chelsea, or the headline was, as you could see over here, Enzo Maresca hits out at Chelsea fans for Stamford Bridge environment. That allowed us, and I just early on in the show went off about how that's always a very bad sign. But you're never going to win if you're a manager going out the fans. You're just not going to win, especially when it's your fault that we're in this position to begin with. But so you could see from that little clip there that Maresca's sort of changing his tune, isn't he? He's like, we need to engage the fans. We didn't give them what they needed to be engaged at Ipswich. It wasn't just that we weren't able to pull off the 3 points at Ipswich because at the end of the game, the fans, the environment deteriorated due to the fans, because we all know that's bullshit. We all know it's, Chelsea's not doing it. Chelsea went down 2-0, and it's not the fans that are to blame for that and not having something to cheer for. So it's good that he's changing his tune. Again, nothing's going to change this. In my opinion, if we do not get top 5, which is Champions League places this season, then it's a wrap. Then it's an utter failure from Maresca, and the Europa Conference League trophy is not going to change that. Okay, so that is what it is, guys. If you're in here, why not give me a subscribe? Come back, enjoy these pre-match live streams, because that's what we're going to be doing in the future. I've been doing live watch-alongs. If you look back at my older content, you see a bunch of the live streams of what I've been doing, and it's been live watch-alongs. It kind of doesn't work out for me. I'm not able to show the highlights. The copyright strikes came in fast on my channel, so I wasn't even able to show highlights. I wasn't able to show a video stream, and people were not happy with that. So right now we're going to be doing pre-match, about an hour from kickoff, pre-match shows, and that's sort of what I'm going to stick with. And yeah, I think it's going to get better and better as we go along, but the more people subscribe, the more motivation I have to do them. And you know what? I guess we're all kind of just looking for something to tune into before the match, especially if you're home alone, about to watch alone, and you're ready to go about a half an hour before the match, and the pre-match on the broadcast network is kind of just lame. Especially because, there isn't necessarily a Chelsea fan network that's broadcasting. I'm sure there are channels on here, but that's what we're going to do here too. So if you're a Chelsea fan, you like to watch Chelsea matches, you like to tune in to some sort of preview with another Chelsea fan, with another person that's looking at the scenario that we are met with at the moment, subscribe to this channel, tune in about an hour before each Chelsea match. Now, I'm also a referee, so sometimes on the weekends I've been having trouble. I'm going to try and fix that with my scheduling so that I can get at least I can get some time free before every match. Otherwise, I'm out there refereeing and during the matches, and then I don't even get to watch Chelsea matches anymore, which has been something of a problem since the season over here in the United States has started. But I digress. Yep, we're about 5 minutes out. Let's hear some of those sounds from Stamford Bridge.
Well, welcome to Stamford Bridge as the
Welcome
UEFA
to
Conference
Stamford
League
Bridge.
quarterfinals reach their conclusion. Here in West London, the focus is
so
on the tournament favourites Chelsea. As they
I guess we are the tournament favorites, but as I say, it's not a foregone conclusion. Could very easily be facing, we're going to face either Fiorentina or Betis, who are sort of 8th place in the Italian league and 6th place in the Spanish league, respectively. So certainly not a foregone conclusion, and in my opinion, just a bonus on whatever happens in the Premier League. We cannot miss out on the top 5. If you miss out on the top 5, it is an utter failure.
to turn this around.
And looking at
Given
the
that Chelsea
lineup,
are on a club record
seems that Maresca knows that as well.
9-game winning run in European
Seems very clear
competition.
that Maresca is aware of that because, as you can see, we've got
Legia did overturn a first leg defeat by Molde in
Jackson,
the round of
Nkunku,
16.
Palmer, and Sancho up front. That is a very strong forward line, and I include them all in the forward line. Reece James, like I was saying earlier, it's nice to see Reece James on, if this is correct, this formation and positions that are attributed to each player is correct, as curated by FOTMob. It's nice to see Reece James on the right. Why? And not at the right back, because under Maresca, as I've been going off about all season, the guy doesn't like to play lefties in the left wing position or righties in the right wing position. So we end up being very narrow, and the best chance at a cross that we get all game is an early cross, and on, you know, never on the preferred foot. I mean, never on the. If you're on the right, never on the right foot, and if you're on the left, never on the left foot, which is how you hit those curling balls in swingers and generate power. So it's been bad. But with having Reece James on the right in the midfield, it's definitely promising. I think we're going to see at least some decent pinged in balls from Reece James from the midfield. Now, game's about to start. We're about 2 minutes away. So I'll just repeat. If you guys are here and you want to check out my pre-match shows in the future, subscribe to the channel, come back, hit me up in the chat. I'd love to hear from you guys. And at this point, I'm just going to say enjoy the game, because that's what we're all really here for. And I think Maresca knows he's got to get a performance out of the players, because this season is on the line, and we need some momentum more than anything, because, as I say, the Conference League would be good, but it's not going to fix the season without a top 5 Champions League finish. Okay, guys, so there we go. I'm going to say goodbye and enjoy the game. Peace out, live football, and prosper. My friends, subscribe to the channel. Thank you for coming by. Later.
Soccer? But it's really called football. Soccer? The creators called it football. Soccer? You know, you play it with your feet.
Reading between the headlines.
Soccer? But it's really called football.